Ready? Yeah. Welcome everybody to What's Your Problem podcast, a podcast where we speak about everything, anything, and whatever comes to our mind. No rules on here. We speak and do what we want as we please. Today, I'm joined by two special people, but the one special person I've got is Sachin. What's happening, Sachin?
Cheers,
Do you know what? I missed you on the last episode. That's what I was saying. So,
where was I?
you was away.
Oh.
Where did you go on holiday?
Dubai.
Okay, nice. How was it?
Yeah,
It's all right. Let me play it down a little bit. Yeah, it's all right. So today we've got a very deep episode. Somebody who reached out to me to say, look, I want to come on the podcast. I want to talk about certain things. And that's what we love. People reaching out to come and say and tell their story, really. So I'm going to introduce to you our special guest today, Katia Khan, DJ Kades. What's happening?
Yes. Thank you for having me on.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for coming on. What's been happening anyway? How was your tell us about your drive.
My God, listen, I'm from a village. I'm a little village girl.
Yeah.
You get into London, it's crazy.
So are we like, because you're a village girl, are we like super hyped for you?
Me a little bit. I had to think about that properly. But no, it's when you get into London, there's this boy. I thought I was a boy racer, but here it's different.
Everyone's in a rush.
Literally, it's crazy.
They're in a rush to get to the red light.
Yeah,
that's what
it is. That's what it is.
They're in a rush. Everyone's in a rush. So is that like a big difference between Cov and London? Like I've been Cov a couple times.
Yeah.
Gone to like some of the like festivals and stuff that always happen in Cov, and I've been to those like as a guest, but I haven't seen the difference. But you guys can definitely see and feel a difference when you come to London, right?
You lot walk fast as well.
Yeah.
You proper walk fast. I'm a slow walker, and I'm walking around here. I'm like, Christ, I'm knackered watching them walk.
What's the biggest? Because you come London quite often, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna say like I'm on the road like all the time anyway. So I'm starting to get used to it. But when you're actually in London, it's the difference from being in like a village. And like Coventry to here is it's mad. Okay. So, a lot of people say about my accent as well.
Yeah,
I feel I've got an accent.
So I've got a couple of friends from Cov, and the last episode we did with Hardy she's from Cov as well.
Okay.
And she's got less of an accent than you do. Like you've got more of that north. Am I right in saying, Sach? Like a bit more of a northern kind of like twang to your accent, but it's all right. It's not bad.
Okay. You know, that's all right then. No, glass.
Is that how you say?
Grass. Bath.
Yeah. So that's proper like that's northern for us.
Oh. Yeah. That's what you English.
Yeah. So for those that have been under a rock for the past year or so, tell us what you do.
So I am a DJ. Mm-hmm. So I actually started off in the house scene about 8 years ago.
Okay.
But I've always been into like my Asian desi music, and so from last year's lockdown, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start mixing some Asian tunes, some of my old favourites, and then mix it up with a bit of house. Mm-hmm. And then I joined TikTok world.
Yeah.
And from then it just kind of blew up a bit. So it's
that's
been
where
good.
I saw you as well on TikTok. I was saying earlier. So I remember like you was doing like mashups and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. And then I followed you, and then you reached out after that. So it's like I've seen there's been a lot of demand for DJs on TikTok at the moment.
There's loads.
And there's a lot of people blowing up from TikTok.
Definitely. And
that's where people like me and Sachin don't excel. So we're never going to do well on TikTok.
Why? I feel like he's good.
I don't even have TikTok.
No, he don't even have
to be
he
fair,
refuses to have TikTok.
You'll just be scrolling for days watching stupid videos. So.
I do the same. What was your first like viral video on TikTok then?
It was one where I did the Truth Hurts by Rakim, but the instrumental and Jugni G.
Okay.
So I put that one out, but there's a flip on that there was a lot of nice comments, but then there was some that were like,
tell me the nice comments first.
Okay,
go
I'll go back on that.
Yeah, tell me the nice comments first.
Oh my God, this is like amazing, this is cool, it's different. And I was like, oh, the good feedback was good for me, because I was like, it's not a video I would normally put out.
Yeah.
And that genre of music, because I'm used to just putting out house tunes.
Yeah.
So that was good. And obviously there was the flip side, which is a world that I'm now introduced to, which I wasn't before.
Did you find that on TikTok first? Like that world? You found that
world, 100%.
And what were the negative comments then?
About me being haram because of the way I look, for one. And because Jugni G is like I think it's an Nasheed or something. I don't know what the correct term is. I don't know. People
It
were
is a
saying
Pakistani song, isn't it?
it's something quite like holy, I suppose. But I didn't know that.
I think it's like
In the Quran or
Qawwali. I
something.
think it's a Qawwali song.
Yeah.
I think it's a Qawwali song. So they do like religious things in those Qawwali songs.
But to me,
So
when
maybe-
I like listen and play, I think they're vibes. I'm like, right,
Yeah,
okay. This
I mean
is
that
cool.
Qawwali song that I think they're talking from is the vibes as well. But
Yeah.
it's been done so many times, like from artists that have remade that song probably about
So many.
100 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're coming at you for that. You might as well go for the other people that have done it 100
well, this
times
is it,
already.
isn't it? But I suppose it's because I look different to a stereotypical DJ, isn't it? Especially in the Asian scene.
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
different.
But yeah, tell me a bit about like Cov from the start. Like you tell me about 10-year-old Kades growing up. Like how was Cov?
So, to be fair, I can't complain. Growing up wasn't too bad. Like, I've got a good family. I've got good friends around me. I suppose from a cultural point of view, my mom was the main person that raised us. So I've never had, growing up, been into like my Asian side. I've basically just been brought up in a white area. Again, similar to yourself.
So is it just your mum that's around, like has been a part of your whole life?
To be fair, my dad was, but he was like the provider, so he'd be the one making the
Working.
money, providing for us.
Like most
we're lucky,
Asian
like-
households, same thing,
like,
yeah.
Lucky, like blessed that we had whatever we needed, whatever we wanted, it was there. So grateful. But from saying that, when we were younger, we were introduced to like my dad's side, and it wasn't okay because we were half white. So we couldn't speak the language, couldn't really communicate, and if we were to ever go there as kids, we were made to feel like we weren't welcome. So I don't have a relationship with my dad's side. There was just an uncle, well, two uncles that I had that sadly passed, but they were accepting, they were cool, they were in this day and age basically. So yeah, but again with my mum's side is the same. So her side didn't like the fact that we were half Asian.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's literally a catch-22 almost.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
me, my brother and sister couldn't fit in sort of anywhere. So
So how many brothers and sisters have you got?
so I'm the youngest. I've got a sister and my brother who's the eldest. But a little bit about them as well. My brother, who's the eldest, he's actually half Indian. So
Okay.
he's half Gujarati.
Okay.
And then me and my sister are half English, half Pakistani. So
Okay. So how was that then, like for him as well, like being like fully brown? Did he still have that kind of gap with your other side of the family as well? Or
yeah, well, my dad brought my brother up from one anyway. So in that sense, like he was, he then had his problems when he got older with his dad, his real dad's side. They didn't accept him because he's gay.
Okay.
So in that sense, it was a bit difficult. And then eventually, to be fair, luckily they came round. But it's difficult.
Yeah,
of course.
course.
It's not been like we've just fit in with this side or that side. It's been a bit like we haven't.
What years were your brothers? 80s, 90s? 80s. So it's a different kind of
so
generation.
He's 10 years older than me.
Okay, so you definitely saw the two sides then, basically, from
100%.
older and the younger.
Yeah.
So in your household, let's say for example where you live, and how was the area with who you guys were?
Growing up, so our first house we lived in, our neighbours were actually racist. So we were like everyone on that street was white bar us. We had a white mom, dad's Pakistani. So my dad's tyres used to get slashed. Like, it was horrible to a point. And then we moved areas. And then, to be fair, luckily, fine. But there was always that, people do look at you different. Back in the day, this is years ago, but people do look at you different.
Yeah.
So
Going into school, as they say, like so did you do GCSEs, A-levels, any of that?
yeah.
What did you do? Tell us. Why have you got a face?
Because I was like, you was probably expecting me, she's going to be A-star student.
No, we're not A-star students. Don't worry about it. No way. I mean, we're here on a weekday with you, so
yeah,
you can
to be
accept.
fair.
We're not 9 to 5, Monday to Friday people. So yeah. So how did your school life go?
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't actually like a naughty kid. I was quite good. I just wasn't the sharpest tool. I'm not going to lie. ain't got common sense, you know.
In what way?
I think it's because I would prefer to have a good time with my mates.
Yeah, as we all
Then
do.
actually I should probably go home and study, like what my dad would say, study, become doctor. No, didn't happen. I was like, no, play around with the Bunsen burners with my mates.
Yeah. Did you do GCSEs and stuff though?
Yeah, I did my GCSEs. I passed, which was fine. Good, cool.
A levels?
No.
You went straight to work?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What did you get into? What was your first job? Tell me about your first job.
Okay, so first ever job was Papa John's.
Papa John's,
Listen, I lasted 4 hours.
Hold on. Pause it there.
Papa John's, me and Kye, whenever we're at a gig, the go-to thing is hot pepper passion, no onions, and pineapple.
That's it.
Every single time.
Yeah, every time we do a gig, we don't get fed well. So we always order Papa John's. But we don't like the food as well. That's another thing. Because we do it so often.
Yeah.
We're kind of sick of the same food all the time. And we're trying to watch our weight. Saying that, talking about Papa John's and saying we're watching our weight.
I'm good with my weight.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to watch my weight. Yeah. And we always bang a Papa John's and we always complain about people not feeding us. And if I don't feed Sachin on a job, he gets angry.
Oh, he did last time. We just wanted tea and biscuits, really, though, didn't we?
I was hungry the whole time.
This guy, honestly, it does my head in. Like, you've experienced it already,
hold on. It's not hard. All you have to do is feed me, innit?
But I feed him, and then like
cheap.
2 hours later, he's like, I need food. I'm like, bro, you just ate.
To be fair, you know what? That night at Rio's video shoot, I had Werther's Originals in my car. I could have gone and got us a Werther's Originals.
That's not food.
Guys,
that's not food.
Just a bit of context, yeah? So, it's a lot.
Yeah,
so did you work as well as DJ at the same time? I did the
so
same as well, to be fair.
I've only just gone part-time because I wanted to try and get the DJing in and the bits and bobs going on. So I'm an account manager, so I work in tax, VAT and finance.
You did telling me you haven't got common sense. And
I ain't. Listen, I've been literally flagging this job for 2 years. I hope my manager ain't watching this.
Yeah, let's hope. No, that's sick. That's good that you can do both jobs as well, man. Like it's not easy to do.
No, it's hard. It's trying to get that balance. And I know, like, I'd always say, like, okay, right, Monday to Wednesday is job day. Thursday is supposed to be my social media day. It don't happen. I wake up at like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here for the day. Yeah. Look at my very first video on TikTok. I'm barely even looking at the cameras now. I'm a bit like, we'll vibe, we'll go for it. Like, I know some of these tunes I can't speak Hindi or Gujarati or whatever, but I'm gonna pretend I do.
Yeah. No, that's it, because I know it's not easy to even do that stuff and to pick it up and to vibes to it. I might have to
do a little back to back.
Yeah, I might have to break out this little
get your
trend.
light bulbs out.
Straight after this video, watch out on TikTok. So before we move on to the next part, the main reason I know that you wanted to come to this podcast was to tell us something that is really close to you, really sensitive to you, and will be something that the world doesn't know, really, basically, isn't it? So
kind of, yeah.
And that will base our conversation today, because there's a lot of questions that I have, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions that you have for me as well, and Sachin. So you was telling me that you're actually gay.
Yeah.
And my first question would be I get really scared.
No, you don't have to with me.
No. I know with you, I know me and you can have like an open conversation, an honest conversation. The only thing about doing this stuff online, doing it with podcasts, is that you don't want to offend anyone.
No, of course.
So the first thing that I'm going to say is, if I laugh,
I'll laugh with you.
You laugh with me. I'm not taking a mick out of nobody.
No,
that's the first thing.
And
any questions that I do ask, it's out of ignorance as well. And that's why we're doing the podcast, is 100%. Because we don't meet enough people like yourself. We don't meet enough people who will have this open conversation with us, because like what we were just talking about, it's very you guys and us guys. And there's a big conversation around Asians, religions, integrating, and I don't have the answers for it, and I don't think any of us have the answers for it, but we can only tell you about our experiences in how it is. The first question I want to ask is, when did you know that you was gay?
To be honest,
I've never asked a gay person this question, by the way, so that's why I want to know.
To be honest, I knew from a very young age. I think I must have been about 6 to 8.
What was it?
Princess Jasmine, I'm not going to lie, off Aladdin. I swear to you, I swear to God. I was like, why am I looking at Princess Jasmine this way? I should be looking at Aladdin, and I'm really not.
It's cool, Kyle was looking at her like that.
Trust me.
So when you was in school,
Yeah.
Was you looking at girls differently then?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like I knew. But I tell you what, Princess Jasmine was one, and I remember going to my dad's friend's wedding. It was a big Asian wedding, and I remember seeing this woman there, and I was just like, why am I looking at this woman like this?
What was she wearing?
Really nice sari.
Oh yeah, what colour was it?
It was white as well.
Oh, right.
I remember. This is what I mean. My memory's really bad normally, but I remembered, and I just knew like something there. It was weird, but I'd had boyfriends, and I was like, okay,
so you actually divulged into trying.
Yeah, I thought I have to be, because what I'm thinking isn't right. And like there'd be times where I'd be like, you know, praying that I'm not thinking this way, I'm not feeling this type of way, because it's not right.
So when did you have your first boyfriend?
I was it's probably 13.
13, so really young.
So I did think boys were good, and I do. Like I think some guys are very handsome, like you're both very handsome.
Yeah, she's just saying that.
No. But like,
She's not like.
but like, I just knew like when I had a boyfriend, it wasn't right. But I kept trying to force myself to, you know, you shouldn't be looking at females this way. Like it's not right.
So why did you at that time not think it's right? Is it because I didn't ask you before? So your mum is English, right?
Yeah.
As in white English from England?
Yeah, with an Irish background.
With an Irish background, okay.
Yeah.
So a bit of, okay, that's fine. And your dad is fully Pakistani Muslim?
He's not Muslim, this is
that's the question.
Yes.
So what is his background?
So he's born Muslim.
Yeah.
His family are Muslim. He's actually converted to Sikhism.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So he's actually a Sikh?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a Pakistani Sikh. I'm guessing he's from Punjab?
His home...
Yeah.
No, Jhelum.
Pakistan, okay, so he's from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay,
he's actually Pakistani, but his beliefs, he fell down more the Sikh route, and I understand.
Like, was there a difference coming out as gay to your dad and your mum? Was that different?
To be honest, I was petrified.
When did you come out to them?
So I was 18.
18, okay.
18.
Why at 18? Why not earlier?
I was too scared. I was literally like, I can't do it. I'm not brave enough. Only a few people like guessed and assumed with me. But I was so petrified because I thought, oh my God, like this is horrible news for like people around me who know me, because I knew quite a lot of people, and I thought they would have thought, oh, that's weird, it's not okay. So I think I built it up more in my head, and to me it was just easier to keep that as a secret. But it got to a point where I had like my first sort of partner at the time, and I was like, it came out. So my mum came home one day, and this girl was just chilling at mine, and she was like, okay, something didn't seem right.
Okay.
So
how old was you then?
I was 18.
You was 18, like your mum walked in on you basically.
Yeah.
In the most humane way.
I
didn't mean it like that. But
yeah, so 18, but my sister knew beforehand. Ironically, it was actually on my 18th birthday. So we'd gone out and they got me really drunk, and I was like having an emotional episode, like, oh, I've drank too much WKD.
Yeah.
Got home.
Yeah, the hard stuff.
And I'm a lightweight, but my sister like took me back to hers, and her boyfriend were like, okay, do we need to ask you something? And obviously I'm sobbing at this point, not a clue. And she was like, are you gay? And then I came up to my sister then.
How'd she take it then?
She was the best, like she's wicked. She said she like had an inkling anyway.
So your brother's gay as well, you said, right? Yeah. So
he came up first, which put more pressure on me, because I thought my brother's like my mum's golden. He's the boy, you know,
the eldest as well.
Exactly. And granted, she didn't take it the best at first, but she came round. But I think that's what scared me the most, because I thought she's gonna have, in my eyes, I thought, oh my God, this poor woman, she's got 2 gay kids.
Yeah.
And at this time, were you talking to anyone about it, or were you just trying to face this?
Literally on my own. I was like, I don't even know who I can really talk to about it. This is the thing. Like,
were you talking to your brother about it?
No, he had no idea about me.
Okay.
So how come, knowing that he's gay, how comes you didn't like tell him?
I just felt like I couldn't. I really genuinely was like, I can't physically tell him that I am that way as well.
How did that make you feel, knowing that you couldn't go to anybody to talk about?
It was hard. It was really hard, because in my head, I kept trying to say to myself, I'm going to wake up the next day and I'm going to think, no, I'll be normal. I'll wake up and I'll think, okay, maybe I'll go and date a guy. Maybe it might work out with a guy. I haven't met the right guy. And I was hoping, I was praying on that like for so long until I'd met like my first sort of partner. And then to me, then it made sense. Like, it's not going to work out with a guy because it's not who you are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I can imagine like that being a lot of pressure for you. It
was hard. It was a battle. But granted that the person who took it well was my dad as well.
Okay.
He was so calm. He was so calm about it. It was just like,
that's surprising, you know, considering that he was Muslim, now Sikh, and
he's best.
and brown. So that's weird.
Yeah.
So did your mum not take it too well then?
She was okay. I think she just needed to process it. I think she knew.
Yeah.
I think she had an inkling. I think once the words were confirmed, it was like, okay, cool. But like I said, I'm so lucky. Like, my family are so supportive, and they're so like, at the end of the day, your happiness is the most important thing, which I agree. The only thing they say is don't bring home another horrible person, basically.
Okay.
So other than that, I am lucky in that sense. It's just, I think I was battling with myself because I was trying to prove that, okay, I could possibly be straight. I could possibly have a normal life, but at the end of the day, it's not how it is for me. I am gay, and that's
Of course. So now, when you was in school, so obviously you only came out when you were 18, so your whole school life you went through not saying
there was
that
only
you was gay.
A couple of people, friends at the time that knew, because being in school there was like a girl that was that way as well, but it was under the radar, and then I was, and it was like, oh, something kind of happened there. And then like some of the kids found out, and they were like, oh, that's disgusting, that's gross. So to me, I was like, oh my god, this is even more like pressure.
How old were you when that happened then?
I was about 15.
Okay, so you're coming to the end of school basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
because I realised that as well. Like, a lot of the people that we didn't know that was gay in school, you found out after you left school basically. After year 11, you found out that they were gay. Unless they were like, even then, like, I guess it's different for us. I mean, we're more or less all the same age. And when you was from year 7,
he's 48.
yeah, I'm 48. But yeah, like from from those ages, from like early 2000s, coming out in school must have been hard for a lot of people, because
I agree.
It was really different. I would say not as much as it is now, because it's quite publicized now. You see a lot on TV, a lot of people talk about it. It's a lot more normal now. Back then, being gay,
2007, 2000,
it's not spoke about at all.
And I mean, I went to a boys' school.
Oh, did you go to boys? Yeah,
I went to a boys' school, so I couldn't imagine if someone was gay
in all boys' school.
That situation,
because you lot were all gay in school, in school anyways, weren't you? To everybody else.
Everyone was just on abuse. It could be your mate, but you just abuse them. So like, if you're abusing your friends, imagine if you actually wanted to say something. There's no one you could tell, and even teachers, you would not even think about it, because if one of them let it slip, done.
Yeah, because that era of being gay must have been so hard. Like, I could fully see that as well. So like, when now you're saying like in school when you was about 15, an encounter happened, and then that made you just be like, look, I can't tell nobody, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So did this ever like did it carry on? Did you get like bullied for it in school? Or
a bit, you know, like I was not like typically like bullied, but like, you know, a couple of lads would be like, oh, Leza. And he'd be like, oh my god, don't put me in that category. Like, what are you doing? Like, no, I'm not actually. And then this is where I'd be in my head thinking, no, but you're actually not. But obviously, low key, you are. So it'd be like.
So was you like more worried about them like saying these things, or you actually like admitting to yourself that you're actually?
It was both, you know. It was a bit of both. It was like, oh my god, I don't want these guys to think, oh, Leza, or like say these words. It made me feel so low, and it was like, oh my god. Not a nice word. I don't like that. Course, but then deep down, it's like, well, you are love.
Yeah.
So, go on.
So let's bring the conversation out of school now. Let's talk about in the workplace. So once you left school, what was the situation like? Let's say with your first job.
Yeah.
So what was your first job?
I actually worked at New Look. So
okay.
That was my career. I went through like stages as well with like my.
Straight after 18 or 16, did you do that job?
I was there at 17.
17, okay.
Yeah, 17 I was there.
Okay.
I went through some stages as well with my looks. So I was like trying to figure out what I liked, what I wanted to look like. And I used to have really short hair back then as well.
Okay, how short?
Like probably like your length.
All right.
Maybe a bit longer.
Okay.
Because it was was it Frankie from the Saturdays? She had short hair and it was a thing.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I've got the image of the person in my head.
I forgot what she looks like.
Yeah,
I had a couple. No, they had a couple bangers. They did.
Go on, which one?
I forgot the names, but they did. They had a couple bangers. They had a couple bangers.
But I think some people then assumed or were like, oh, maybe.
Because of the hairstyle. Yeah.
Hairstyle. And I only like sort of, because people say, oh, have you got a boyfriend and stuff? And I'd be like, no. And if we'd go out on nights out, like some guys would come and talk to me. Like, they'd be good looking guys and I just wouldn't be interested.
Yeah.
And like, I remember a couple of girls they'd say like, why are you not going like with him? Like, he's good looking. It's like, nah. And then I remember I did say to a couple of them, I was slowly like opening up. And granted, like a few of them were cool. Like my boss was wicked. Like she's still a good friend of mine now. But there was a couple that would just like say I was working on like, manning like the fitting room.
Yeah.
And one of the girls had made a comment like, don't really think that's appropriate when she's a lesbian and there's girls getting changed.
Yeah.
And like to me, I was just like, what? Like.
Yeah, I find that assumption crazy that just because you're gay, you're attracted
to every single female. I'm not.
Yeah,
and I'm fussy as well. So.
But on the flip side, like have you ever felt uncomfortable? I'm asking you this actually. Yeah. Have you ever felt uncomfortable when there's been like another gay person in like an intimate space like that?
Well, I'll be honest. Yeah. I've never been in an intimate space like that with someone, but. I mean, working in the creative scene, luckily now it's a lot more open. So you do come across like gay guys like on shoots and whatnot. But I mean, I've never felt a certain way about it. But I think that's just because we're from our generation when we've seen what people were like in the generation above. But then we've also taught ourselves that, do you know what? It's there are people who are gay and it's cool. Like that's what they're doing. As long as no one's coming to you and forcing you to behave a certain way, 100%. Like all good, man.
There's certain people that you could say is ignorant to like what you're saying as well. Like there's a level of ignorance, but at the same time, if somebody feels uncomfortable with something, I mean that's kind of their issue. Yeah. But we shouldn't say. I think it's wrong to say that they're wrong for feeling like that as well. At the same time, but correct me if I'm wrong as well. I'm just thinking out loud and playing devil's advocate a little bit, because let's say for example. A gay person like is a bit touchy-feely with you, or like I've had girls that have been a bit too touchy-feely with me, and I'm a bit like, you need to chill out. You know what I mean? Like don't do that too much, and it's normal to them. So they'll be like, oh, I'm not like moving to you, that's just how I am. So even if a guy does that, sometimes you might be a bit like, not because they're gay, but it's just because you feel uncomfortable being in that position.
I think at that point, the only acceptable thing to do is communicate clearly where your boundaries are.
100%.
Yeah. Regardless of whether it's a boy, a girl, someone older, someone younger, like whatever the demographic is, like I think the only fair way is to communicate. Say, look, excuse me, I don't appreciate that. I'd rather if you.
Yeah, of course.
And if that behaviour then continues, then I would find that very disrespectful, and then I would say, okay, cool, it's time to action something.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. So how did that make you feel that time when they said to you, look, I don't think it's right that you're in the girls' fitting room?
I was so annoyed. I literally was like, how is this person? Bear in mind, this person was a newer starter as well. I'd been in like that job for a lot longer than she had. So I was just a bit like, one, the audacity, like, and two, I was just like, I then processed it and then I was then deep in it again because I am a massive overthinker. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, what if like other people think I'm looking at them in that type of way when I'm really not, like, really not interested. And then I remember having a chat with one of the members of staff, and I was like, is it weird? And she was just like, nah, like, it's not. Like, it's just someone with their opinion, basically. So, but it did stick with me, and like, even to this day, like, I remember that moment, and I remember it did make me feel a bit low.
So I can imagine for you in those days, like, having that pressure on you to be a certain way.
This is what all it came down to. Like, I feel like I'm trying to be myself, but at the same time it's like, oh, but if you fall into having this short hair and then you start to get tattoos, you're a typical standard lesbian, if you like. But I didn't want to fall into that 100%. I was literally trying to find my way of what do I feel comfortable in, what do I like. But then it was almost like once I kind of came into like the gay scene, and I had a few more gay friends, and how they dress and how they were, I thought, I've got to be a bit more like that. And then it's like I had the other side. It was such a mix, and it was like, well, no, if you step back and think, and like now I'm literally like, I like what I like.
So you wasn't gay enough. You didn't look gay enough.
This is what
and
I
you
mean.
wasn't straight. You didn't look straight enough. Yeah. So you was a bit of both.
Well, that's it. And it's like, well, where do I fit in? And I think I cared. And to be fair, I still do now. I care a lot about people's opinions and what they think of me. Like it just really.
I think we all have that a little bit. As much as a lot of people say,
you kind of validate yourself based on a response you get from what you do.
Yeah, it's so from the way you talk to the way you dress to how many Instagram followers you got. It's probably worse now. So when you said, so you came out when you was 18, and how did your Pakistani side take it?
So realistically, I think they would have known through. Well, Asians know everything. They find everything out. Even though they had nothing to do with me, they would have found out. And because they'd come into New Look when I worked there,
they live locally as well. Yeah.
So they'd seen me in there, and they'd seen me like the way I was transforming with how I looked. So to them, even more, it was like frowned upon. Like one, I've started to get tattoos, and then I had short hair. Like, oh my god,
they were Muslim.
Allah, basically.
Yeah, they were Muslim as well.
Yeah. But like I say, like I don't have anything to do with them. They don't. If they see me in the street, it's literally heads down, carry on walking. There was just one incident that I had with like my dad's brother's wife, who's really not a nice person, but caused a scene, and then basically just said I'm Gori, and like this was in the shop at the time as well. Like, and then I don't know what the translation is, but it's something about me being gay, I assume.
Yeah.
But to them, it's all frowned upon. This is the thing that I think in any Asian community, like that is a big sin.
Yeah,
it's not okay, which is hard. Like, especially like for people that can't actually be themselves. I think this is one of the main reasons I wanted to jump on this with you today as well, because I feel like it's 2021 and people are living like my eyes in the last 2 weeks. Kye, I swear to God, they've been opened so much. I'd gone to like my first gay desi night in Manchester.
Okay.
And like the type of people there, like, but when I speak to them, they've got a wife at home, but they're out. And I was sat there and I was just smoking my vape, and I was just like, this is reality. People are living a double life because they can't be open with their family about who they really are, because it's a case of they lose their family or they be themselves. And it just feel like, why is this still happening? Like,
see, this is the thing as well, because I said this. So with a lot of religions, is you can be gay and be in your religion. Correct me if I'm wrong with Hinduism, this actually. Yeah. So you can be gay in religion, but to do gay acts is the sinful part. Yeah. So not to discredit anybody's religion or anything like that, but just speaking facts, that's what's possible. But then there's the flip side, that somebody else would look at that and they would say, if you allow this person to be as open as they are in this space of holiness, we are now accepting it.
Yeah.
And because it's wrong in their eyes doing the acts, if they accept everybody else that's gay, it's kind of like they're accepting everything and everything that's wrong. And that doesn't just apply to being gay, because what they say is, if you're a drug dealer and if you take drugs, still pray. If you're an addict, still pray. If you're a gambler, still pray. They still say that you should still have some connection to your religion. Same with Hinduism, isn't it? That no matter how much bad you're doing, just try and pray. That's what they say. So there's still a space for all these people, but it's just there's that fine line between them accepting it and it being accepted worldwide and then being shunned from everybody else. Because imagine but I know some people are going to come at us after this episode. The comment section is going to be mad. I know that 100%. And people are going to be like, oh, you know, you're now talking, we don't need to talk about this openly. We've had other episodes where people are like, you lot are talking about things too openly. You don't need to talk about it.
The point is, it's 2021, and why should us as Asian people, and why should the Asian people in general have to be, you know, like disconnected from the real world? Like being gay is a thing, you know, like it's normal. Like I can't get my head around why people have to be so like cruel about it, you know. And I understand like the religion side of it to a point, but in my head, how I see it is you are born this way, but I class myself as more spiritual than I do a religion. Yeah. But I respect all religions 100%. But for me, I think going back to like with some of the comments and stuff I had previously, because people see my last name as Khan, instantly they are like, oh, you're Muslim. What you're doing is haram. I've never stated anywhere on social media that I'm Muslim. Anywhere. So
yeah, I think that's the you'll get that with the surnames. It's just it's too broad, isn't it? As well. So
but
it's
then
like
my middle name is totally different.
What's your middle name?
I'm literally out now, but everyone's gonna crease at this.
God. I'm smiling already. I don't even know what it is.
No, I can't believe I was saying it. Diane.
Yes.
Katia Diane Khan.
How like just does not flow.
Diane, I love it.
My mum did me dirty. Cheers, Kim. But I feel like since I've kind of come into like the Asian scene, from like my Instagram, I've always been quite open about who I am, what I am. But I've almost felt like since being a bit more into the Asian scene, I can't. Because I've seen with my own eyes how the Asian people deal with gays, and it's not okay. So
have
then
you felt that on like TikTok and stuff?
Yeah,
like,
100%. And because I posted something on my TikTok and I hashtag like LGBT.
Okay.
A lot of backlash come from that. So from that, it made me like want to refrain from being like as open when I shouldn't. It's almost like I'm going back on myself.
Yeah, like because I was just about to say you've already been through that already. So
I just was like, okay, feel like I can't really be my true self. And me doing some work with a few people, a few events companies, I don't want to say or admit that I am what I am because I fear that
Asian companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are. And I feel like if I say that I'm gay, it's going to change. They might not book me again. They might not have me back.
I did ask you that when you came on because I know you wanted to speak about this. And
I used to do some stories on Instagram, like when I sort of started, when it kind of blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
And people would ask me, oh, are you single? Have you got a man? And I'd like, me being me thinking I'm funny, like, no, I'd just put a rainbow flag. And like a lot of people like...
They clocked from that.
Yeah, but quite a lot of Asian girls would message me and be like, you're so brave, like, I can't come out. And then I think about it from that. I think, oh my God, these poor girls, like, they're in a situation where they can't be them true selves because
that's a big issue in the Asian community at the moment because there's the suicide rate in men with Asian men is high crazy right now, and they need people to reach out to.
100%.
And there are avenues that people can go down now in order to get support online. Telephone numbers, there's so many different things, and if we do have any of those links, we will put them in the description for support. There's ways in going around this, there's ways in speaking about it, and I'm sure a lot of people will admire your courage in going further, in maybe coming out or speaking about any situation in their life, not just being gay. Like there might be something, it could be depression, or it could be, I don't know, suicidal thoughts or something like that. Anything. Like a lot of brown people don't talk about those things. Has there been a time where you was like, you know, have you ever had a thought where it's like really, did you ever get like depressed? Like
I literally openly now, like I think I spent the whole of last year, I had so much going on, and I won't lie, like I have had suicidal thoughts. I've been at my lowest, and I thought there's just so much going on that I can't handle it, and I didn't know like who I could really speak to, because it's like nobody can get in your head and figure out what the problem is or like fix it. It's like you are at your lowest. But no, going back last year, I think that was my lowest. I think I've had waves. Like I do suffer from anxiety. Like, and I do, you know, I've suffered with depression. But I think this year it's been a case of like trying to deal with it better by speaking, and that's been the best thing I have done, is speaking about things.
So who have you been speaking to? Like
I've had support with like my mom, and to be fair, I literally was like, do you know what, I'm the type of person, and this is probably another deep subject, but I didn't want to be like a person, like nothing wrong with it, I know a lot of people that are on them antidepressants. I didn't want to take tablets. I didn't want to go on to them. I thought no, like I've survived 25 years, like I've battled with things in my head this whole time. Like I can still carry on doing that. And then I trialed them, and to be honest, it didn't work for me. Like I don't have take anything, because in my head I said, if you want to help yourself, you've got to help yourself. You can have support around you, use your support, but at the end of the day, you've got to be the one to pull yourself out of bed. You've got to be the one to like, okay, let's do one small thing and take things as they come. But yeah, as far as like the depression thing, I think is so important to speak about. And like you said, like in the Asian community, those things aren't like spoken about. My uncle, he actually committed suicide. So he's my dad's brother, who is Muslim, and that was like the biggest sin, because he committed suicide. But what they did, the Asian community, they lied about his death, because they didn't want that to be spoken about. Oh God, sorry, that's touched me a bit.
No, of course.
They would rather say that he died from something else that wasn't as sinful, but the guy was depressed and he couldn't speak to anyone. So
I mean, if anything, that should be like a wake-up call for everybody, not to hide away from it.
That's the thing. And this was,
and I think the change can only come from kind of our generation, and even looking forward, like, you know, if people our age, or, you know, within the next 5 or 10 years become parents, being open to these topics and having these conversations from early on, I feel like that's the only way that people are gonna then open up. And, you know, props to yourself for speaking about it today, because
TikTok is that place where
it's just too open. Like there's anything on
like
there,
and everyone's got an opinion on there, haven't they? And another thing is, the things that rattle people get the most views. It gets the most views. If you want views on TikTok, just say something controversial and it will get there. I guarantee that. That's exactly what I did. And the view went up. You went from hundreds to thousands, literally, just because of a little bits of buzz.
It's a toxic app, to be fair.
Yeah, it's terrible in that sense. But I can see that being a big damage on your mental health, like getting that kind of backlash from you being you. Yeah. How did that make you feel, knowing
I stopped for a bit, you know, like
on TikTok?
Yeah. I like literally was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh my God, my following's grown. Oh, it's giving me a bit of a confidence boost. And then like the negative one comes in like quite a bit, and then like, oh shit, like, and it makes me want to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want. Do you know what? I won't lie to you. I'm at a point now where I'm even questioning, like, do I even want to do this? Because I'm at a point where it's just so much negativity, and I'm like, one, I'm too old for it. I can't be bothered to.
What's the negativity? Because obviously no one knows that you're gay right now properly, until now. Now they know. But so what's the negativity you've had now online that makes you want to just quit the DJ and stuff?
It's more like what I look like as well. Like, yes, I have fillers. Yes, I've got tattoos, and like people like, and I'm quite like, it's what I like. And if someone says something to me, then it will bother me, and I just think, oh. But I think it's mainly because.
What made you get the fillers and toes?
Do you know what? Personal choice. I'm very critical with myself, and I know, like, okay, I had really small lips before, so I was like, okay, I want to fill them. I want to like have my jaw sharpened up, so I've had like some aesthetic works done. But that's for myself. I do it for me, like nobody else. Yeah. So, and with my tattoos, I've always loved tattoos. Like when I'm young, I remember like one day. My mum always used to say to me, whatever you do, never get your face done or your throat. I came home one day with cling film wrapped around my throat. And her face. She done
everything you told her not to do.
I think because I've got two on like the sides of my face. Yeah. In the end, she just give up. Like, but it's calm.
Let's look at the flip side. What would be some of the more positive things that have come out of TikTok and Instagram for you?
Because like you're saying, that's where we've kind of seen you excel the most. Yeah. And you're doing gigs that I've been doing this for years, for too long now, and I feel I've done it at quite a high level, but you're doing gigs that I've never done, and that's sick. So it's like the fact that would you say that TikTok got you to that level?
I think, I agreed 100%. I think don't get me wrong, like Instagram and TikTok have been sweet. Like it's crazy. Like I'll go out for dinner. I remember the very first time me and my friend went to Marco Pierre's in Birmingham. I'm not used to that. I'm used to going Nando's or McDonald's. That's what I like. Like And like people came up to me and they were
Nando's
like,
is a bit of push for us, to be honest. But yeah, go on.
Trust me. People came up to me and were like, oh my God, you're the DJ, and they were like asking to take pictures with me. And I was just so like humbled by that, and was so like, what? Like,
it's funny you say that, like, because of the way you look and stuff, that you've felt like quite low and people made you feel like that. But I feel like because of your look, people book you.
There's a flip side to it. So there's the people that hate on it because also I keep knocking it. I'm so sorry if you get like random buzzers in my bad.
There's a whole like gay community that I've seen do like Asian gigs as well.
Literally, I had no idea it even existed until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's loads out there, and there's like some huge ones, and like we're in contact with a few of them, and they're doing their thing, man. They're not worried about everyone else. They're literally they're in their own lane doing their own thing.
That's the best thing anyone could do.
Yeah, and like they're just basically doing their own thing, and I respect that a lot because they're actually making big moves as well, like yourself. So it's good to see, and we're really happy to see that you're excelling where you are. And the only thing that we could actually say is that you have our full support, but also you just gotta keep going. Like,
I think that's my issue.
You're in your niche right now, and it's hard to have a niche.
I think I just get in my own head. This is my problem, where I get to a point where I'm like, oh, do I just go back to doing my full-time job and then like live like a normal person? And then I question it. I'm like, well, why would you do that? Like, you're in a good point like now. Like, this is why I've kind of said to myself, like, you need to start being strict with yourself. Like, start working towards these goals that you want to do. So,
have you ever spoken to another gay person about this?
Yeah, now 100%.
Yeah.
Like my best friend Talawa, like he's been amazing, and like having him, like I'll call him up if not every day or text him every day. Like, it's nice to have that. So
have someone that understands you, because you could talk to us any day, but sometimes we won't understand what you're talking about or how you feel, and that's kind of why we're having these conversations, because we want to know as well. We don't want you guys, or you in particular, to feel like you can't come here and have a chat with us, or give Sachin a call, or give myself a call, or whatever it is about something that you've got a question about, because we won't always know the answers as well.
I'm lost in London again. Get me?
Yeah, don't worry, Sachin's got you. But also, like, well, hopefully, like, I feel like we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this, because I feel like we've got more to experience. You have more to experience in your life as well. I mean, you're still quite young, so it's like, I feel like you're going to experience more stuff and tell us some more stories in the future in how to support other gay people and brown people, girls, females, whatever it is. Do you feel like, this is a question for me to ask you guys, you know, say for example, do you feel like gender-wise, do you think it'd be harder for a guy to come out as gay or a female? Guy, I think.
I still always say guy.
I would say a guy, but that's based on my experience, like going to a boys' school and how guys generally throw the term gay around. For jokes. Like,
I would have said more in the Asian community, it'd be harder because.
Agreed. I agree there.
The whole breadwinner. Thing that we got, the whole, you know, you're a guy, you've got to uphold the house and stuff, and it's harder for them. So
I definitely think we need a second
100%. I think we need a second episode more in time.
Are we on Spotify?
We will be.
I need to get Spotify. I don't even have Spotify yet.
Yeah, you're a DJ and you haven't got Spotify. Yeah, you need to get
Everyone
Spotify.
says that. Oh no, I still have SoundCloud.
No, it's the easiest thing. Go on Spotify, you find all the new songs there quicker, so you can download it quicker.
No, forget that. You're on our podcast.
Okay. More importantly.
But
I need to sort that out. Sorry, I've been we're airing out all of our bad things here. We're gonna put the podcast on every other platform. Thanks, Kades, for coming on.
No, thank you for
really
having
appreciate it. Follow Kades up. All of her socials will be in the description below.
Well, hold on, just for the people who are listening, where can they find you?
Instagram, TikTok. Don't add me on Facebook. Oh, what's my at? At Kades DJ.
Kades DJ. Don't add her on Facebook.
Or LinkedIn. People find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Go on LinkedIn. You know, that's another tool for people to chat people up on LinkedIn.
Don't. I know. I'm like, no, this is my business page.
LinkedIn is give me your money.
Yeah.
Give me your number.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it is now. And you can get numbers and stuff. Your people are moving mad on there nowadays.
But guys, we're going to try and be a little bit more consistent with this. Drop us a DM, an email. Well, don't drop us an email. We don't check those. Drop us a DM or a comment on what you want to see next. If you've got any more questions, any more topics you want us to cover, if there's anyone who would like to jump on, or anyone who
you think we should have on, or any questions you've got for Kades, let us know, because there definitely will be a part 2.
Thank you.
Okay. We didn't introduce the podcast. We didn't say what this podcast was and where to follow us. Follow everything at Moving Famous if you're still listening. Thank you very much.
And if the audio is really bad is because Kye keeps hitting the flipping table with his coaster. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
To be fair, I keep knocking this as
and
well.
And also the mic I'm wearing, I don't know if it works. And also I wasn't in that camera for about 45 minutes.
We're going to take you off the camera. All right, cool. All right, no worries. Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in soon. Thanks.
Okay.
Peace.
Love you all. Goodbye.